This video is not meant to convince you to do the carnivore diet. It is simply an honest review of my experience after following this approach for 200 days. I'm going to cover the good, the bad, and the ugly, as they say. If you're new here, my name is Marcus. I've successfully lost over 60 pounds, and I've been helping busy folks lose fat and get healthy for 13 years now. Let's dig into it. It has been easier than ever to manage my body composition because my appetite regulates itself so effectively. I eat as much as I feel like eating and I'm good to go. In fact, I often eat even more than I feel like eating because I'm quite active, and if I don't, I'll get leaner than I want to get. My gums were bleeding fairly often when I brushed my teeth prior. That is gone now, and my hair, skin, and nails are in better shape than ever. In terms of my mood and energy, it has been super steady, consistent, and predictable, which I really find valuable. I originally implemented this approach to see if I could clear up my lifelong arthritic knee pain, and I am so happy to say that my knees have never felt better. Feelings of depression and angst were absolutely brutal when I was clinically obese, and they did improve a lot when I cleaned up my diet, so reduced the processed foods, drank less, etc. But they were still popping up and running in the background almost like elevator music. And fortunately, that is essentially gone now, and it didn't even take weeks, it was a matter of days. However, when I have strayed nutrition-wise and or implemented a few beverages over the last 200 days, those feelings would come back. And then when I cleaned things up again, they were gone. So it's clearly the diet. I love to work out, run, cycle, etc. Just be active in general, and my performance has been really solid. But my recovery from exercise is where I've really noticed drastic improvements. For example, I get way less sore now after training than I used to, despite doing the same activity or even more. The recovery benefits that I've experienced has me rethinking the role of carbohydrates in regards to exercise recovery and the immune system specifically. Work-wise, I'm procrastinating far less, which is an interesting one, and that has resulted in me being a lot more productive. A lot of this has to do with more stable blood sugar, because whenever I have a carbohydrate-containing meal at lunch, let's say, my desire to work takes a serious hit, and now that I'm not eating carbohydrates at lunch, that is much less of a thing. I'm sleeping better, and therefore I need fewer total hours, which actually lends itself to the productivity piece in the sense that it feels like I have more hours in the day, which I actually do. Now, a lot of folks seem to think that the carnivore diet is either constipating or has you running to the bathroom. I have not had that experience at all. My digestion is the best that it has ever been in my life. Okay, now let's balance things out and dig into the cons. I mentioned that it's been easier than ever to manage my body composition. However, it does appear as though I've lost a little bit of muscle. I know that I haven't because I'm equally as strong in the gym, but it kind of looks like it because for every gram of carbohydrate that you eat, it pulls 3 to 4 grams of water with it. And so when I'm eating more carbohydrates, it appears as though my muscles are slightly bigger due to that increased water storage. Carnivore is essentially a zero carbohydrate diet, and so I don't get that visual effect anymore, and I need all the help I can get. I racked my brain for drawbacks in regards to how I feel, and I came up blank. It is aces across the board. But I will say that socially, carnivore can get a little bit tricky just because eating nothing but meat, fish, seafood, eggs, and dairy, if you tolerate it, isn't exactly a common thing. It's actually kind of wild because if you order a burger and fries at a restaurant, no one bats an eye. But if you order a burger patty and skip the bun and fries, everyone's got questions. You also might find yourself feeling like you need to defend your food choices. For example, folks often say, but Marcus, what about fiber? This is actually a really easy one to respond to because there are only two essential macronutrients, which are protein and fat. Meaning carbohydrates are not essential and fiber is a carbohydrate. And so it can't actually be a physiological problem not to consume something that's not essential to human physiology. That's that. Cholesterol, on the other hand, is a little bit more nuanced just because we don't know quite as much about it. But there are two ways that I go about addressing this cholesterol question. The first one is to simply ask the person that's asking me about cholesterol one simple and straightforward question, which is, what is cholesterol? 99 times out of 100, that person won't actually know. And so that is a very quick way to end that discussion. The second one is to engage this person in a little thought experiment, which is, let's say that you lost 30 pounds, felt way better, improved your hair, skin, teeth, and nails, your libido increased, you never got bloated anymore, and the list goes on. but your cholesterol went up a few points. Would you return to the diet that had you regain that 30 pounds, decreased your energy, made your hair, skin, teeth, and nails less robust, as well as resulting in a lower libido and feeling bloated every day, just to reduce a single blood marker that only has correlative data to support its role in heart disease? That's a pretty interesting question for anyone to contemplate. Like I mentioned at the outset, I am not trying to convince anyone to do the carnivore diet. In fact, most people probably don't even need to unless they are dealing with a specific health issue like an autoimmune disease, mental health struggles, a tough time managing their relationship with food, which I've experienced all three, by the way. Essentially anything that general healthy eating isn't resolving. But what I will say is that you don't know what you don't know. Meaning, if you don't actually try something, you can't know if it is a good fit for you or not. I can't know whether I like the taste of oysters without actually eating an oyster. I may think that it looks unappealing, but it's impossible to know whether I like it or not without at least giving it a try. So if you're not looking, feeling, and or performing the way that you want to, whether it's carnivore or some other dietary approach, why not do some experimentation? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. Feel free to thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the comments.